See guys, if your goal is to make a lot of money and you want to change your life in the next few days, in the next few months, you want to get to that particular point where you're now making hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're now making so much money in such a way that you cannot even recognize your old lifestyle. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the fastest way to change your life in the next few months, in the next few weeks. Now, changing your life is not just about you just waking up one day and saying, my life is going to change. There are steps that you need to take. There are things that you need to do in order for you to get to that level where you're now that particular person that can attract the kind of money, the kind of wealth, the kind of recognition you've always wanted to attract. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how many segments? 7 different segments that I have seen that can help you change your life, because I started out as a totally broke guy. I was trying to make a lot of money online. In 2016, my dad retired and he wasn't being paid his pensions anymore. So back then I was still living in school and I was trying to find a way to get to a point where I can make a lot of money to pay my school fees, try to sort myself every single day and do everything that I had to do even as a student. And from that time till now, I've been able to make a lot more money for myself. In fact, last year alone, we did hundreds of millions of naira in my different businesses, and over the last few years we've done over 1 billion naira in sales. And that's the reason why I'm so confident that if you want to change your life, you need to stay to the end of this particular video and watch till the end. Now I want to let you know that my videos are not going to be carrying any extra gimmicks. It's just going to be cold hard truth so that you know and understand why it is that you need to start changing your life now. Segment 1, the first thing you need to do, or the first segment of the things you need to do to change your life, is that you need to gain clarity on what exactly you need to change. There is a high chance that you probably are in a level where your life is already changing, but the things that are changing are not the things that you need to change. Now, when you understand this, it's easier for you to know that, oh, I'm actually doing something right, but I'm not doing it in the right place. That's super important. And there are 3 steps to be able to know and to gain clarity on exactly what to change. Now, step 1 is that if it feels like you're trying to change and it feels like something is holding you back, you need to first and foremost identify what is holding you back. So this could be your family, this could be your friends, this could be your association. It could literally be anything. It could be your personal habits. It could be that girlfriend, it could be that boyfriend, it could be your personal relationship that you have with some people. Once you've been able to identify what exactly is holding you back from completely making that change, because most people they're like in their transition phase where they're trying to get from caterpillar to a butterfly, and they always stop at 80% and they never transition into that beautiful butterfly. And it's always one particular thing that they're not paying attention to that makes them not transition properly. So you need to be able to identify it and work on that particular aspect. Now, the second step in the first segment is that you need to be able to visualize your ideal self. So think about it and say, okay, who do I want to be, or how exactly do I want to feel? How do I want to be thinking in the next 5 years? How do I want to be in such a way whereby once I hit that goal, I'll be like, damn, I have changed. Because when I think about myself from like 2020, 2021, I know I'm definitely not the same person. A lot of that's changed about me. The way I think, the way I talk, the people I work with, so many things has changed about me. So once you are able to visualize your ideal self, you are now able to work towards it. Now, probably your problem might be you talk too much. The problem might be you share ideas that you're supposed to keep to yourself with a lot of friends. So your ideal self knows that he is not supposed to be sharing ideas with the wrong people. So now your younger self, which is your present self, you're going to be working towards reducing the way you talk about ideas to people that cannot necessarily contribute to that particular idea. So you having a visual image of who your ideal self is always going to help you 10x, 20x your chances of getting to that particular level you want to go. Now, the third step in the first segment is that you need to set clear and actionable goals. If you ask an average guy and say, okay, how much do you want to have in your bank account in the next 1 year? He can go ahead and say, okay, I want $10 million. It's fine to want $10 million. But the truth is that, is it possible with what you know right now, with your current skill set, is it possible to reach $10 million in the next 1 year? The answer might be no. But if you break $10 million down to different steps, there's a high chance you get to a level where you now take each and every step one after the other, as opposed to you just waking up one day and saying you want to make $10 million. Now, let me give you a typical example. If my goal is to make $30,000 from the business I currently do, CPA marketing, if you want to learn that, you can just just click on the link below this video to join one of my free trainings or to watch a free video that I have put below this video. If you want to make $30,000 from CPA marketing, you know that probably maybe you need a good deal that can pay you $500 per client you acquire for the company rather. Now, because you know that your deal pays you $500 and each client that you acquire for the company can make you $500, you know that in that particular month you're only looking for 60 customers. So now your goal has changed from I want to make $30,000 to I want to get 60 customers this month. Now you don't just stop there at 60 customers this month. You go further and I want to get 60 customers this month, but how do I get 60 customers this month? Probably you have to post 20 content or 30 content throughout the month that is going to attract those 60 customers, or you have to put out 3 offers every single week to that. So now your goal has reduced from you want to make $30,000 to you want to get 60 customers to you just simply need to post 30 content in one particular month. So now you're now thinking, the next thing you're now thinking about is, okay, how can I post 30 content in one particular month? Now that, okay, I have to be awake every single morning to post in the morning, to post in the night, so that I can attract these particular customers for the companies. So you see that my goal has gotten from $30,000 to just simply making 2 posts per day. The overall goal is make $30,000, but the actionable goal is post 2 content every single day. The next actionable goal is acquire 60 customers. Then the next actionable goal, which is the umbrella goal, is make $30,000 that particular month. So that's it. That's the first step or the first segment that you need to focus on if you want to change your life in the fastest way. Now, the segment 2 is that you need to take quick and meaningful actions. Like each and every segment in this video is going to have 3 steps. Okay. So for segment 2, the step 1 is what is called the 2 minutes rule. Now, the reason why a lot of people don't take quick and actionable steps very fast is because they never just start. So most people who suffer from procrastination, you need to understand that once you get the first 2 to 5 minutes out of the way, it automatically just it gives you like the kick for you to keep on going. And when you understand this, you just know that you don't even need to do the whole task. You just need to start the task, because it's easy for you to continue with the task that is ongoing than for you to mentally cross that hurdle of you starting the task generally. So you starting the task, you don't even have to finish it at the beginning. Just start it first and let it be an ongoing task. The mind shift there is that if it is an ongoing task, it's always going to be ringing in your head, so that way you cannot forget. But if you have not started the task at all, there is a very high chance that you're probably going to even forget that there is a task that you're even supposed to do. So the first step is that to start taking very quick and actionable steps is to make sure that you follow the 2 minutes rule. Any task you have to do right now that is looking like a big burden, just try to do it for 2 minutes first and let it be ongoing in your mind. That is always going to stay in your subconscious every single time. Now, the second step is that you need to build a morning routine. Now, I keep on saying this every single time. The way you start your morning is the way you end the day. I'm not a big fan of routines, to be very honest. I'm not a big fan of, okay, wake up, meditate for 10 minutes, read a book for 5 minutes, do this, do that. But if you can create a system that allows you to work 100%, I'm telling you, you can literally make a lot of money. You can totally change your life by just simply creating a system that allows you to do what you're supposed to do. So for me now, I like to wake up very early, like 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm not saying you don't have to wake up early. That's just because that's the time I can think. Because I manage a lot of people, and during the day is when I should make videos like this, is when I hop on calls with people. So that's the time, the work I want to do for myself, that's the time I can do it. Right from when I was in school, I knew that that's the time my brain functions at a very high level. So you just have to choose the time that you feel that, okay, you can think. If you're doing a 9 to 5, of course, I'm not expecting you to wake up 3 a.m. in the morning and get work done and stuff like that. Probably maybe you operate better at night time when you've rested well after your 9 to 5 or whatever. But you just have to create a routine around whatever it is you're doing right now and make sure that that routine works. Make sure you give each and every part of your life the amount of attention that it needs to work. Now, the third step is that you need to make sure that you do the 1% improvement method. Now, how this works is that every single day, you just want to put the barest effort on everything that you do, no matter how small it is. So there was this guy I met at the gym one time, and the guy is really jacked. He has muscles and all that. I was like, bro, how did you get to this particular level? He said he has been working out for 10 years. Now, somebody who comes and tell you that he has been working out for 10 years, it could be he has been going to the gym for 10 years. One thing told me that stuck with me is that every single day he comes to the gym, no matter how small the amount of time, he must do something in the gym. And one thing that a lot of people don't know is that all these efforts compound. So the more you keep on doing it, the more it is that you get used to it. It becomes part of your life. So if you can do something for 1%, you can do it for 2, you can do it for 3. That's the reason why I always believe that if you've done something before, you can always do it again. So even if it's just 1% every single day, it's going to compound over time. It is 100% 100% going to compound over time. Now, the third segment is replace your negative patterns with positive habits. Now, just like I was talking about the routine, okay, the same way we can create a routine to help you get things done is the same way automatically or by default we have developed habits that stop us from getting things done. Some people out there have an habit of, okay, I must go out every single weekend. There's nothing wrong with going out every single weekend, but what are you going to do out every single weekend? Is it affecting your life? Is it something you should continue doing if you want to grow, if you want to progress? Everything in life has to be done with moderation. So if you're going to be going out every single weekend, what kind of amount of work are you putting to ensure that your outings every single weekend is more of a reward than it is a privilege? Do you get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying here is that you don't have to put it that, okay, I must go out every weekend. What I like to do is that I like to put it in such a way whereby if I know I'm going to work very hard from Sunday till Thursday or till Friday, I can decide that, okay, Saturdays I'm going to take a break. So that way, going out on the weekends is as a result of the work that I've done. So it's super important that you understand the difference between all these things. There's nothing wrong with going out on the weekend, but if your behavior has been created in such a way whereby it affects you negatively, you need to change it. So the first step is that you need to stop anything that's going to affect your progress, because there are always going to be things that are going to affect your progress. Something as little as talking to some kind of people can literally affect how much you do in a day. There's some people that you speak to and boom, your day is gone. You should well know that, okay, I probably shouldn't speak to this person if I want to get stuff done. Then number two is that every single habit that you think can affect you, you just need to cut it out. Especially the kind of habits that affect you psychologically. Most of the problems that a lot of people face is not physical, it's psychological, it's mental. Because I used to tell people, success is very spiritual. And when I say spiritual, I'm talking about what you read in your Bible and all that. I'm talking of something above the physical. So something like your emotions, how you think, the way you feel things, the way you assimilate all those things, they are spiritual. So it has nothing to do with religion. If you find somebody that is spiritual, that person might even be a pagan, but he can be a very spiritual person. Then number three is that you need to use the if-then strategy, which means that if you want to reward yourself, you need to have a condition to rewarding yourself, just like I explained earlier. So you'd be like, I'm going to do XYZ in the weekend if I complete ABC tasks. So those are the three steps under the third segment. Now, this fourth segment is a segment that I really love a lot because I like to talk about it a lot on my social media, especially on my short form content on Instagram and other social media. Now, the fourth segment is that you need to surround yourself with positive influences. I tell people that you don't have to leave your current location to change your life. Although leaving your current location can automatically help you to get more in your life. But I believe there are two kinds of environment. There's the physical environment and there's the mental environment. Now, your mental environment includes the kind of content you consume, the kind of people you listen to, basically everything that goes into your brain and your brain processes is your mental environment. But to a large extent, your physical environment influences your mental environment. But if you have a very strong mental capacity, it's going to be able to fight back your mental environment. And you know, the crazy thing about the mental environment is that it is the only environment you can 100% control. You genuinely cannot control what happens around you. You can't control how somebody speaks to you, but you can control how you react. So at the beginning, your physical environment is what you receive and your mental environment is how you perceive what you received and how you react. So you surrounding yourself with people that positively influences you creates a good place for your mental environment to grow. So it's super important you understand all these little perks when you want to start the journey of changing your life. With a good mental environment, you can start the process of changing your life. And when you start the process of changing your life, you can then think of changing location physically to surround yourself with people who can physically change your life. But with the advent of social media, you can control the kind of content you consume, the kind of people you talk to. In fact, you might not even need real friends. Like when I say real friends, I mean you might not even need friends physically. I've had a lot of friends out there that I never met them for 6 months, 8 months, and we did a lot of amazing business deals. Just because we both understood that we're on the same goal and we're on the same channel to achieving all those goals. So how do you get a supportive environment, right? 3 steps. How do you get an environment that can positively influence you? Number 1, you need to find mentors and you need to find role models. Now, this is very simple, but most people do not understand the role of mentors, and that's the reason why they find it very difficult to find people who is going to mentor them. Let me tell you this. A good mentor is just somebody who has qualities you want to have or has been or is where you want to be. Simple. Don't overcomplicate it. The person can be a very terribly bad person in real life, but you can learn or pick a thing or two from that particular person, and that person can serve as your mentor. But it now takes you to think and know that, okay, from this mentor, what am I trying to gain from this particular mentor? It is super important. So you finding mentors, you can literally find mentors by reading books by a specific group of people. For instance, I personally like books on philosophy a whole lot because they talk about wisdom. They talk about philosophy, literally the study of wisdom. I like books around money, finance, all those things, marketing. And the first thing, whenever you tell people find a mentor, the first thing they are thinking is that, okay, how can I meet the mentor? You do not have to meet your mentor ever for your mentor to change your life. Ever. You don't even have to speak to your mentor. You just need to be able, and there's a reason why it is called a role model, because all you're simply doing is that you're playing the role of modeling whatever it is that the person has done to get to where he wants to go or get to where you want to be. All you're simply doing is modeling. And your mentor doesn't even have to be alive. I have mentors that I know I will never meet. In fact, I don't even want to meet them, because for me to meet them, I have to die as well. If there's an afterlife, because everybody has like a different view of what happens after you die. So some mentors have died long time ago. Some of my mentors are people that have just written really amazing articles. I don't know who they are in real life. I don't want to even know them personally. But with the value I wanted to get from them, I have gotten from them, and I'm okay with that. So if you're lucky enough to have a mentor around you, it's fine. Good for you. But one thing I'm going to tell you is that don't abuse access, because a lot of people, how they behave is that the moment they have somebody who looks like they can model or they can copy, they start to go and ask the person for money, or they start to go and disturb the person's life. Remember, your mentor is there for you to model, not necessarily for them to teach you anything. There's a difference between a teacher and a mentor. Two different things. If you're lucky to get a mix of both, fine. But most mentors are never ever going to teach you anything. You have to find a way to learn from them without necessarily having to speak to them. Just imagine I decided, okay, some of my mentors that I've learned from in the past who are now late. Just imagine I'm thinking of meeting them face to face, and I'm like, okay, they must teach me, they must hold me by the hand and shit like that. How is that gonna happen? So there are differences. And of course, if you want to get a mentor to teach you, trust me, most times it's not going to be cheap, because if somebody has actually attained success and gotten to where you want to be, their time should be more valuable, and you need to respect that. Most of my students that I mentor in my CPA Academy, most of them do amazing results without ever even sending me a text message. Just take some of my materials, and it's because the way I've put together the materials, I see myself as a teacher most times, but I cannot sit down and teach every single person one-on-one. But I can create materials that can help a lot of people at the same time, and there's so many results from my academy now, for instance. So once you understand this, the role of your mentor is to be a role model. It's easier for you to find mentors and connect and receive from these mentors, and not feel quote-unquote entitled to their knowledge. Now, the second way to always have positive influences around you is to elevate your circle. It is super important that you understand that everybody around you influences you, whether you like it or not, because it is not a conscious thing. You do not know when someone influences you. That's the reason why it's called influence. The whole idea of influence is that you don't know what's happening. You don't know why you're behaving the way you're behaving today. Probably maybe you're watching this video because there was somebody who decided to watch this video, and because that person is watching this video, you decided, okay, let me watch it as well. That's the whole idea of influence. So when we're talking about influence, it's an unconscious effort, but you can consciously position people around you to get the positive influence that you need, because influence in itself is an unconscious occurrence. You wake up in the morning and you notice that for some reason, probably maybe when you are brushing your teeth, there's a particular kind of way you do it, but now you don't do it that way anymore, just because you have a friend who lives with you and he does it in a different way, or there was a particular pattern you cooked, or there was a particular way you did a certain thing, but you now see that, okay, you're skewing towards that particular guy's method because he lives with you. It might not be there's anything wrong with your previous methods, but just because you have somebody doing something in a repeated manner, in a repeated way around you all the time, is going to make you think unconsciously that you have to do it that certain kind of way. In fact, in marketing, it's called the bandwagon effect. However people are behaving around you is how you behave. It's simple. You might want to say, oh no, I'm strong. You're not strong. Trust me, you're not. Nobody is strong. That's why I like a part in the Bible where it says, do not be unequally yoked with the unbelievers, something like that. The reason why I said that is because God knows you're not strong. So if you're working with unbelievers, you're definitely going to be an unbeliever in due time. So that's how it works. Now, the third step you can use to surround yourself with the most amazing people, or people who can influence you, is by joining communities of people of like minds. This is totally underrated. There is so much you can do by just being where there are people that actually achieve what you want to achieve. Simple and short. If you want to become the best graphic designer in the world, join a graphic design community. If you want to get good at web development, if you want to get good at marketing, if you want to learn CPA, you should be in my academy, right? So that's exactly how it works. Now, the fifth segment is that you need to reflect and you need to readjust every single day, because as you do everything, as you make all these changes, you need to sit down and say, okay, how exactly are these things affecting my life? Am I actually making progress or am I not making progress? And there are 3 steps you can use to do this. You can either do every single day reflection. So people like to do journaling. I've never done journaling before. I'll never lie. I won't do that. But I have a note. It's quite taxing to sit down and write everything I did in a single day and all that. But I do that. I won't call it journaling, but I just take notes every single time. So I know what I did. I know what I have achieved and all that. So it's more of note taking to me than journaling. Some people like literally have a full-blown diary. I'm not in for all those things, but I do take notes. I pay attention to details. Most people who do journaling are people that don't have the ability to pay attention to details. If you're among them, please journal. Okay. Now, the next step after you've taken your finding and done everything is that you need to adjust based on your finding. So the whole idea of doing the journaling and taking notes and all that is so that you have data. So if there is still one particular part or area of your life that is not improving, that's where you now have to like put more energy and focus on. Okay. And the most important and most amazing part of this is whenever you see progress, you need to reward yourself, celebrate, be happy. Because that you've just done something that somebody has, or that 99% of everybody else is not going to do. Then segment number 6, right, is that you need to be okay with being alone. In fact, there are no steps under these last 2 segments. You need to be okay with being alone, because you know how people say it is lonely at the top? It's because people that actually make decisions to change their lives, just like you have watched this particular level in this video, they are very few. But on the other hand, those few are people who genuinely, individually decided that, man, I'm going to make that change. I'm going to make sure that everything I do reflects who I want to be. I'm going to do everything to become my ideal self that I've put out there. So it's super important that you decide that, oh, I'm okay to be alone, right? It is okay to be alone, because those times are always going to come. You're going to need to grind. You're going to need to put your head down. You're going to need to do things that you're not okay doing. And the last but not the least is that you need to repeat the process. So let's assume that you start doing everything you need to do, or everything I've told you in this video, and at the end of probably maybe 30 days, you analyze and say that, oh, I did not make so much progress. It is okay to repeat the process again till you get to that idea. So in fact, you're supposed to repeat the process again till you get to where you've gotten to, or where you need to get to. So that being said, guys, is exactly how you can change your life in the fastest way possible, broken down in 7 different segments. So remember to like and subscribe, and watch out for the next video.